Joe, and you join us today in Devizes for Attack. That is Devizes and Districts Wargames Club's annual show. Now, Devizes holds a special place in my heart because that was the first club I joined when I got into wargaming way back in the 80s, and it's a club that's been going for well over 50 years now. The show normally, or used to be, held in the Corn Exchange in the centre of Devizes, but more recently, in the last quite a few years now, it's been held here at the school in the centre of Devizes.
Absolutely, and Devizes is quite a good town. There's plenty of areas around here for getting food and all the rest of it, and coming to the show here, it's ideally situated. I think this is probably the first show that I came to as well. I think, looking back on it, I think it probably was.
Yeah, I think it probably was. Yeah, I think it was probably one of the first. And then obviously that was Colours then afterwards, which was in the old hexagon.
Absolutely.
The old hexagon, yeah. So anyway, we've had a quick sort of peruse around the show. Show's not open quite yet, but we've had a quick peruse around, see what sort of games and tables are there. We're going to sort of hopefully show you a little snapshot of the show, and first of all, a huge thank you to Lloyd Lewis, that's the chairman of Devizes Wargames Club, for allowing us to come in and do some filming today. So huge thank you to that, Lloyd. And like I said, I'm looking forward to it. It's 2 days, but unfortunately we're only here on the Saturday, so we'll try and get to show you as much as we possibly can throughout the show. There is a weather warning, so you can probably pick it up with the microphone.
It's a bit windy at the moment.
They've given a weather warning today, an amber weather warning of wind and rain, so hopefully we can dodge all of that.
It'll hold off. I have my fingers crossed.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the show.
And over here, one of the things in Devizes show that supports a lot is the Models for Heroes. It's a fantastic charity and one that I've put some money into, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, we'll talk to the chaps from Models for Heroes. Hi guys, how are you doing today?
Hi, good morning, how are you, alright?
Oh, absolutely good. So tell us a little bit more about Models for Heroes.
Models for Heroes, as it says on there, we encourage positive mental health through making models. And that's not only for veterans from the armed forces, but also the emergency services as well.
Oh, excellent.
So there's lots of information on the flyers here. And we're basically all over the UK in various different groups. It's the social aspect, it's getting together like-minded people of an interest in making models, putting the world to rights, and encouraging positive mental health for all these activities.
Oh, that's excellent. And obviously it's something that's really important, and it is really something that's talked a lot about on our channel and a lot of the other YouTube channels that we have conversations with. So you do a lot around the different shows then, or?
You'll probably find a lot of the model shows or wargaming conventions around the UK. There'll be volunteers from Models for Heroes will be there.
That's fantastic. So the company I work for, we actually run a benevolence scheme, and we do volunteer hours around in the community, and for all of our volunteer hours we get paid by the company and we give that money to charity. And I have to say Models for Heroes is my one that's allocated, so you've got another 60 quid coming soon from mine.
Thank you very much for that.
I'll
just say, if anybody's interested, that's our sort of website on there. As I said, if anybody's interested in either becoming a volunteer or needs support, contact us and we'll see what we can do for you.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. And honestly, guys, if you get a chance, put some money into these guys, go and see these guys. It's an absolutely brilliant charity and certainly something you don't see much in our industry, and this is it. This is the one to go to. How are we doing today?
We're doing very, very well today, thank you.
Yeah, okay, you had a lot of people coming along and a lot of interest so far.
Yeah, it's been a really good show. Everyone's friendly, happy coming round. Really glad to be here.
Fantastic. So tell me, loads of new stuff going on here. What's the newest stuff that you've brought out at the minute?
Oh, the newest stuff we've got is probably some of our city walls, which we have up there, based on Mycenaean city of Troy. So we've got those in 28mm up there, and we've also got them in 20, 15 and 10mm.
Wow. So catering for everything there, that's amazing. Those are really nice. We were looking at those this morning, weren't we? So have you got many shows you're doing this year?
We do a mixture of wargame and natural fibre shows because we have two different businesses. So we're pretty much a wargame show every other weekend, and the alternative ones are wool and fibre shows.
Excellent.
So, yeah, keeps us out of mischief.
Wow, no, absolutely. I was saying we've seen the range grow over the last few of the shows that we've been to, etc. So everything going well at the moment.
It certainly is. It keeps us out of mischief.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and I hope the weekend does well for you.
Have a lovely day.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I'm now joined by Brendon Wheatley, writer of Attack, World War II sort of close action, long-range desert group actions.
That's right, but you can play SAS as well if you want. It doesn't have to be long-range desert group, it can be SAS. The rules originally written for solo play, but you can multiplay. When I say multiplay, you can all of your mates can play LRDG, they take a vehicle each or 2 vehicles each, but there's also, in the rules, you can play the German side as well, the Deutsche Afrika Korps.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it allows you, especially for club games and that, everyone can get involved, all do different things, and that really, really good.
Yeah, the other thing which is quite fun, if you've seen the SAS films recently, Rogue Heroes, and you've got this thing between Paddy Mayne and Sterling, well, if you play that and you play SAS, why not put Paddy Mayne in charge of your SAS, but have Sterling in charge of the Deutsche Afrika Korps to try and trip him up? And then after you've played that game, play exactly the same game, but change places.
Yeah, brilliant idea. Yeah. It's like a totally different game altogether, sort of with different characters, different roles and that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Each game takes about an hour, so it's not huge, and you can play a campaign. You play. A lot of LRDG were away for a couple of weeks, whatever. So you can play that maybe 14 days. You've got all the cards here. There are 30 different missions on there in these cards, plus blanks.
Right.
So if you've got your blanks and your cards, all you do, shuffle them up. If you want to play, say, 10 days, take 10 cards out, don't look at them. And then as each day's mission, you pull out 1 card and you see what your mission is for that day. You don't know what the enemy is because, again, we've got cards for the Deutsche Afrika Korps. And these could be squads, like 3 riflemen, whatever, and there are blank cards. Again, each mission will tell you how many squads you've got, what they are, and how many blank cards. Then you take the blank cards away after you've shuffled them. You place the cards equally between buildings, whatever. You don't know what you've got there because some of them are blank.
That's totally surprised when obviously the LRDG, the SAS come up and say, oh, what's that? I've been bumped into.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know what they're up against. The other thing, just to give them a bit of a rush on, because the LRDG and SAS, it was a quick get in, do the damage, get out as fast as you can. So there is also returning patrols. These returning patrols from the Germans, they could be Italian or German. So it'll say to you, well, maybe you've got 8 moves to do as much damage as you possibly can. After 8 moves, you roll the dice and you see if there's a German returning patrol. It could be an armoured car, it could be motorcycles, it could be motorcycles and an armoured car. What they will do, you'll dice to see which part of the table they come on, and they will just go for you. You haven't got a choice.
Total frantic action and that fast paced and that. It sounds really, really cool. I mean, I think you brought them out, was it last year?
Yeah, about 18 months ago, and they've proven to be very popular, and they've actually had to go into reprint, which is fantastic.
I mean, again, I've read through the rules. I confess I've not had a chance to play them yet, but from reading them, they are brilliant, and to see the game set out, I had to come and see it. I had to come and see Brendon and say, it's an excellent looking game.
Well, I've been a wargamer for over 50 years now, and a lot of experience, and I've played a lot of solo stuff. Started with Don Featherston all those years ago, Wiesenkraft, all of them. So yeah, I love it. I love the modelling. Most of the scenery you see here is scratch built, and the vehicles. This is another interesting part. If I show you this, what we've got here is the vehicle profile. So you can say what the vehicle is. It could be a Jeep, could be a Chevy, and then here you name your crew. If you've got the crew's names down there, and over here you've got ammunition used. So if you're playing a campaign, what you shoot at, you can't just shoot at everything. You've got to keep an eye on how much ammunition you've used. Overnight, you can replace ammunition between vehicles. So you can redistribute the stuff.
And that sort of represents actually what possibly could have happened actually during the actions during the World War II. Is you're out for, the LRDG, the SS, they're out for a long period of time out on patrols. They can't carry everything. They can carry so much, but obviously the redistribution and that certainly does fit into that theme.
Yeah, there's one of these cards you've got to pick up. There's an oasis. You've got to pick up water because your water cans, your flimsies have been shot up. So you've got to collect water. Other ones on your return, you pull a card out. It just says Stuka attack. You don't even have to play the game. That's all done by dice, and it's a Stuka. You don't know what damage you're going to get.
And that's what I was saying. Every game is different. Every time you play it, every game you play is going to be different. From playing just a normal pickup game to playing a campaign game, it sounds really, really fantastic. And the solo element as well, again, sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's the other thing is you can play the same game and get a different result every time. And at the end of your campaign, whatever, you total up how many assets you've destroyed, because each asset has a points value, but each vehicle has a points value as well, and each man has a points value. Because there's a medic in there, they always travelled with a medic, and they travelled with a mechanic. Those vehicles are actually worth more than the other vehicles, so you've got to be careful with them. And at the end of your campaign, you total up what assets you've destroyed, what you've lost, and you've got to destroy 100% more than you lost.
Wow, that is really good. That, and again, that sort of makes it sort of, you want to look after your assets, look after your men. You come, like you said, writing down your crews and that on your vehicles. You come attached to it. It's not like a normal war game where you say, well, that's all right, when we're playing a pickup game, we can just chuck it all in. No, it actually means something, because, you know, you might have a little jock on the Gimpy, and he's like, I want to look after him.
It gets personal.
Definitely. And that's what I like the sound of. And I have to say, you're playing this on the table here in 20mm, but I know you can play in other scales.
Yeah, you can play it at any scale. I've even got some models over there from Heroics and Ross, and they're 1/300 scale. You could play this game using the rules. All you've got to do is maybe use centimetres instead of inches. You could play it on a 4x3. Something like that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So again, play at home on your dining room table, have a real fun game on there if you haven't got a space to play at clubs or anything like that.
Well, the other thing is, if you play in maybe the 1/300, you can take it on holiday with you.
Now you're tempting me.
I mean, how many times you've been on a holiday and you just think, wouldn't it be good if you've got kids, whatever, and they play?
Especially if you can't rely on British weather and that, it's raining, whatever. Yeah, ideal, isn't it? Very fun little game.
Yep. So there's something there for everybody, I think. It's and it's fun. You can have a good laugh because you can, with your mates, you can all play on one side. You can all play LRDG. So you just allocate the vehicles to your mates, whoever playing with. But then if somebody wants to be on the Deutsche Afrika Corps side, you can do that. It's in the rules. They can play that side as well.
Well, there you have it then, guys. That is DAC Attack, and I say, Brendon, thank you very much for giving us a brief interview with that and telling us about it. And where else can we get it from?
You can get it from Offensive Miniatures.
Offensive
Miniatures, and they do all the vehicles, everything in 28mm.
Yep, that's it. Offensive Miniatures do a lovely range of 28mm with that Africa Corps and that, and obviously the LRDG. Once again, Brendon, thank you very much.
All the very best. Yeah. You take care now. Lovely to see you.
Well, I'm joined by Lloyd Lewis, the chairman of Devizes and Districts Wargames Club. Lloyd, brilliant show, mate. Actually well run, and again, we certainly enjoyed it as myself.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been pretty busy today. Probably a bit quieter than normal. That's partly the weather and partly the fact that there's parking restrictions.
The layout this year, as I said, it's been really good, and very easy to find yourself, get around to see where everyone is, traders, games, and everything. It's really, really good. And the other thing I was going to say to you, and that again, Bring and Buy seems to have flowed quite well today.
It has flowed well. I do think we didn't have the peak of people that you sometimes get on the Saturday morning, and that's helped. But the cash has certainly been flowing through there. Yeah.
And again, it was great to see the Models for Heroes here, the charities, which I know, we're speaking to you past, and that you're very keen to support, and that obviously the charity work and that.
Yeah, really pleased that Models for Heroes are here. Not in the least the stand and selling things and talking to the public, but also every £1 that we sell on the door for tickets coming in goes to them.
That's brilliant. Again, there you go. See, that's amazing support. So again, like I said to you earlier, Lloyd, Devizes was the first club I joined back in the 80s, and it's always holds a place in my heart, and I always like to come back every year to support the club and support the show. And again, it seems to get better and better every year.
Oh, that's great to hear. Speaking to some of the punters that have been here, they come every single year, really enjoy it, and quite a few say it's their favourite show. which is great to hear.
One thing I do like about it is friendly, and it's everyone's here to help everyone, and it is, you chill, you relax, you're walking around, and you meet old friends, see new friends, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, I can't say I was so chilled this morning though.
I think you've actually been overly quite lucky with the weather. I know what they forecasted and that, but you've been really, really lucky.
Very lucky. It was extremely wet yesterday when we were packing the van and doing the school, but today the deluge hasn't happened that we expected, so yeah, very lucky. Yep.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Lloyd, and again, a huge thank you for letting us come along and do some filming. Yeah, no, it's been good. Well, the show is now winding down here at Attack in Devizes, and I have to say it's been an absolute blast being here today, meeting up with some old friends and meeting some new friends at the same time. What do you think, James? What's been your highlight of the show?
I can't really pick something for it. I think there's definitely been a wide variety of stuff here. It's definitely been a very historical show, which is obviously good to see, because a lot of times you go to shows, there's a lot of sci-fi, fantasy. Well, I mean, all of it's good for the hobby, but again, this one really is for the historical gamers out there. A very good show for that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I've sort of picked up on, and that there's been a good balance, I think, between participation games and also demonstration games. And again, there's the Carentan Table downstairs, meeting up with Brendon Wheatley downstairs with the DAC Attack. That was really great. Great to see Brendon and that and talk about his game. It's something definitely we're going to have to look into when we get back.
Oh yes, definitely. We've already got a few bits for it. It's just, as you said, getting round to actually getting to play it. We just need to get it done up, and then we'll be there, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I say, on behalf of sort of Lloyd, the chairman of Devizes Wargames Group here, a huge thank you to the Boscombe Down and Amesbury Wargames clubs for lending their support. I would say running a show, especially a local show like this, and that, and getting all the support, it takes a lot of work. And a huge thank you to those guys for jumping on board and coming down to give it a hand. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed seeing our little snapshot of the show. If you're interested in Devizes Wargames Club, or you're local to the area, the links are in the description below to Devizes Wargames Group website and also the Facebook page. Jump on those websites and have a good look and sort of see where you go from there. And until next time, guys, we hope you've enjoyed our show. Until next time, happy wargaming.